Do you know what you're
Hello
getting
everyone,
into?
and welcome to the SSX Tricky Childhood Challenge. So this is going to be my attempt at playing SSX Tricky exactly, or mostly exactly, as I did as a kid. I know it's not the first video of its kind, but I don't really care. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do my own spin on it. So we're going to be seeing all the race events today. And they will be done in a single event and with the pro difficulty. Just so we get the highest difficulty. And to sort of showcase how easy Tricky is, or can be, I guess. And the track order will be in my experience difficulty order.
A gorgeous addition to the SSX World Circuit, the Garibaldi Run is located in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. This seemingly obvious, wide-open and fast first course also hides some of the best hidden treats of the SSX circuit. If you venture off the main path, be prepared to be challenged.
Yeah, so before we talk about the rules, I'm just gonna state the obvious. This is Garibaldi, and the easiest SSX course is indeed the easiest course for the challenge. Why? I will explain it later. But first, we're gonna talk about Zoey. Why did I pick Zoey? Easy, because I saw a family friend play it, or I saw them playing SSX Tricky as a kid, and the sister of that family, I thought she was kind of cool, and she played Zoey, so when I got this game, I decided to play Zoey, and I decided to stick with that for all eternity, or that seems to be the case at least. So yeah, I picked Zoey, and I also picked the purple outfit because as a kid I always wanted a purple outfit and I didn't know how to unlock outfits, so yeah. Also doing this with the Uber board because without it, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's definitely very challenging. I made an attempt with the base board that you start with and it didn't go so well. Yes, so explaining the rules here a little bit. As a kid, I used to think that X was a throttle button. Because when I thought of video games, I thought of cars. And in car games, you need a throttle button, so that would make sense, you know? Well, in SSX, holding X actually makes things difficult. It impacts your turning radius. And it slows you down a little bit, and leaning forwards while holding X and stuff doesn't really matter. So yeah, holding X is a little bit difficult. You can see that Luther crashed into me right there. That makes me sometimes uncrouch, and then I have to recrouch. And turning really sharply, especially on ice, can also sometimes make me uncrouch. But I do try to stay crouched, or stay crouched as much as I can, basically, but yeah, it doesn't always go my way, but the general idea is to hold X, which in turn affects my ability to not take shortcuts. So the plan is to stick to the main path always, especially avoiding the glass shortcuts. But because my turning radius is so severely limited, there might be some turns and such where I accidentally cut a turn or I cut a corner just because I can't turn enough to actually follow the turn. So I fly out of the turn and that can give me an advantage. In Garibaldi, that's not much of an issue, so that's probably why Garibaldi is the easiest of them all. It's very wide in terms of the track design. Speed boost and moving the board is okay. I also decided that jumping would be okay because honestly, while I didn't really know that was a thing as a kid, it's not very fun to watch me just die to a pit in Aloha or Alaska, so I decided that jumping would be okay. And no knockdowns. I didn't know you could knock down in this game. Accidental knockdowns are okay. I can't always control knockdowns. Like, what if I take a jump or I get some airtime and then I land on someone and then I accidentally get a knockdown? I can't really control that, so that's okay. And if the AI crashes into me and I get a knockdown out of it, that's also okay. No tricks, no boost. I didn't know what that was, so yeah. And no tricks. And picking up speed boosts and trick boosts are okay because I could have easily run into those as a kid. So yeah, that was Garibaldi.
For you, Joey!
And it took the entire freaking course for me to explain my arbitrary rules.
You're hot. Whoa, hey!
Okay, so this is Tokyo Megaplex. Why is this one not in the easy pile? Well, it's So this is Tokyo Megaplex, and the reason why this is so far down the easy section is probably because of the fact that it is also quite wide. I don't know, I did this pretty much first try. When I streamed it, I had to do one reset or one restart just because I got a bunch of airtime on the fans. But I didn't complete the track, so I'm still counting it as fairly easy. I was just being really dumb with the fans, I guess. But if you follow the main path and you don't really hit too many obstacles or fans, then it should be a fairly straightforward track. Definitely not among the harder ones. So this is also kind of interesting because the course order will be quite jumbled. Because the easier tracks are usually the tracks with a lot of width to them. And even on this attempt, like, I'm not doing too great right now. Actually in second place and hitting, well, the spinning things and one of those doors, and yeah, not doing too great, but still somehow in the lead. So Tokyo, pretty easy. And this is quite interesting considering that this is the pro difficulty. I don't know if this is a testament to Tricky being easy or me having played too much of Tricky, or a mixture of both. Probably a mixture of both. I used to think that Tricky was indeed the easiest SSX game, but it also depends a little bit on how you count the difficulty, because completing essentially the career mode in SSX 2012, that might be among the easiest things, especially considering the fact that you can skip tracks if you fail them too frequently. And then after the main mode in 2012, I would probably place Tricky as the easiest. In 2012, a lot of the challenges from the Explore mode. So if you just do the main mode in 2012, that would probably be even easier than the World Circuit in SSX Tricky. But then I played SSX Blur and I realized that, okay, fair, maybe SSX Blur is the easiest SSX game. And probably the most kiddie SSX game as well. Would make sense considering it was released for the Wii. I don't really know too much about the Wii, but I mean, it used to be sort of marketed as the let's enjoy playing with your grandma type experience, and yeah, Blur was definitely easy. I am in second place by a lot here, which is interesting. I did stream this, so I've done this before, but I didn't really pay attention. Like, this is not one of those challenges where you need to pay attention. You just hold X the entire time and you steer. It's not very interesting. Most of the interesting aspects is probably how you can sometimes bump into stuff, like right here, or the AI sometimes messing with you. They can knock you down, they can ruin your day, or they can rubber band massively, which is also quite fun. Except when it makes you lose, then it's not very fun. But I guess that's a part of the charm point of this. Tokyo with the main path though gets quite dull, just because it is so long. But like right there, I was in second place until almost the very last second, and still I won. So yeah, a little bit of tension you can get. And now we have Alaska, which is interesting. Like, the hardest track of SSX Tricky is the third easiest track. I might even be willing to put it as the second easiest track. But I think what puts me off putting it as the second easiest track is because the AI feel a little bit stronger in this. And of course, it is very narrow. The thing about Alaska, without spoiling too much, well, who am I kidding? This is me entirely spoiling, but it starts very narrow, right? But then when you go deeper into Alaska, it's not that narrow, and that's the part that kind of saves everything in terms of Alaska. So I'm gonna be failing quite a lot in the beginning, which is not the most entertaining part, but maybe some riders will knock me down or something. I don't remember if they did that. Seems I'm doing a good enough job at knocking myself down though, so that's fair enough. Look at me being almost cheeky cut in that corner, but on the other hand, it's still very much main path. You can't really get much out of that corner. Nice slam into that sign though. Yeah, stuff like this. That's why I wanted the ability to be able to jump, just because without the jump button, it would just be even more annoying, mindless falls, you know? I also didn't really mention rails yet. Can't quite remember how many rails I actually end up getting on throughout this, but I decided that rails are okay if I sort of land on them or I accidentally happen to take them, but I won't really go out of my way to get on a rail. Because that's sort of how I used to play as well. Like, I could see the rails and stuff, but I didn't really know how they worked, and sometimes I would just end up on a rail, as you do, so yeah. So this is where Alaska gets really tricky, because with the limited turning radius and holding, like the limited turning radius and it being so much on ice, it's almost impossible, or well, as you can see here, it is impossible to make these turns. Oh, did he knock me down there? I think he did. Or was it the collision? If it was Eddie, that's kind of funny though. But yeah, that can happen. And there were like some courses where the AI would just push me a lot. I think Alaska is one of those courses where I also only needed one attempt. I think after this one is where I started needing a few more attempts. Also, bumping into riders, like when I do it, it's fine, but when the AI bumps into me, I would just lose my balance extremely easily, which is very annoying. And sometimes when the AI just decides to try and push me, like Sia did there, like, I done nothing to you, I can't even push you, and you're still up in my face, huh? And this is what we call sportsmanship. Which is also one of Sia's lines in the game, I believe. So she doesn't really follow her own moral code, but I guess a lot of people don't really practice what they preach anyways, am I right? I don't remember ending up on the left side of this. As a kid, I will always be more on the right side. Allowed me to get the speed boost though, which is nice, because, well, I'm in the lead, but not by a lot. And yeah, turning the board mid-air thing, I most likely did not know that I could do that as a kid either. But I also decided that it would be even more annoying falls, so yeah. I have a feeling that a lot of these challenge rules makes the game hard enough anyways, you know? I don't think this could be done in the original SSX, but I could be tempted to giving it a shot at some point. But maybe not with all the rules, maybe just no boost or no shortcuts. We'll have to see. Or maybe on a lower difficulty. I don't know, OJ is kind of famous for being quite rubber bandy. So this is kind of the tense moment of Alaska, I suppose. Elise is in front of me and the finish line is right there. But then she jumps, and yeah, we don't see her anymore. So bye, Elise. Nice knowing you. Easy win for me. And I'll take it.
Hey, do you know anything about sportsmanship?
Yeah, well, get over it.
Oh well, she said the line about sportsmanship there. That's nice, I guess. And so it's like, get over it.
Get any prettier, JP, and Luther may ask you out.
Silence, child. Go play with
I
your
probably
little
trimmed some
friends.
of these lines too hard. For some reason, when I was streaming this, Zoey kept saying the same lines. I think she said that line to JP maybe 7 times in 2 hours, and I just got fed up with it. So yeah, this is No Dream. Second track of SSX Tricky. It's the first track that took me quite a few tries. Snowdream is also quite a wide track, but it has almost the opposite issue from Alaska, that it starts out fairly wide, right? But then it becomes a little bit more narrow as you approach the end. And then there's a very awkward section that I will talk about when we get there, I guess. Yeah, so this first part of Snowdream is just fine. No issues here, really. Alright, this is funny too. Like, look at this. Look at how close I was to getting that shortcut just from the habit of the thing. I was going for it so hard, and then like the last second I realized, oh no, I can't do this, and I saved it. And then I ended up on the rail by accident, which is okay. But I was going for that shortcut so hard, and then, oh no, I can't do that. So this is something that's quite interesting. This section is where it starts to get extra narrow. And these turns I normally can't make, but Eddie was there. And he saved me. But normally I would sometimes fly over one of the corners, which would give me a shortcut technically. But that's one of those accidental shortcuts because I can't really control it because I can't turn. Like, I got an advantage because I turned too slowly, basically. And I also did a little extra jump a few seconds ago. And that I would sometimes do when I feel like Zoey has uncrouched. But she hasn't actually. So it's me just pressing X to make sure that she crouches. But because she was already crouched, she would just jump instead. I do that sometimes. So coming up here on Snowdream is a massive issue, which is probably a big part of the reason why I decided to allow jumping. Right here, right there, on the edge of that bridge, when you hold the X button, for some reason you can get caught on the physics of that and you would just fall. And I've been getting caught on the physics there like maybe 3 times. And the one time I wasn't, I got silver, and this time, as you can see, I didn't actually jump towards that edge, but it was a gamble, and thankfully this time it didn't trip me, but it might as well would have. This is also a fun beginning to Aloha because, I mean, I'm just spinning out, you know? Aloha was, for a while, the track I thought would be the hardest, just because of the fact that it is the most narrow track in the game. Lots of like turns and stuff. I think I just got a bit lucky. I also remember because I did 2 attempts at this on stream, and one was absolutely awful, and I decided that this is not gonna cut it. I'm gonna need a redo. So I did redo it. Like, this is definitely unfair, but on the other hand, as we can see here, I can't make these turns whatsoever. So this is one of those cases where you would just be flying nowhere, everywhere. And sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it does not. I also didn't want to end up on that little area there where the rail is, because that's not main path. There's also this area where I can't make these turns, so you're just gonna see me fly, you know? I'm just flying, like I'm still holding the X button, yet I'm just flying. But yeah, that's Aloha for ya. I guess that's also maybe one of the reasons why it goes quite okay. But I had that one time, I think it was my first attempt at streaming it, that didn't really go that well. I was like right at the finish line. But I was just a little bit too slow, and Elise was slightly faster than me. And she was also right on me. And I couldn't do anything, and I watched her just pass me like...
What a train wreck.
And she would just pass me so subtly, and I couldn't do anything. If I had been allowed a knockdown, I would have easily taken that. But because I couldn't, I just had to watch it like whoosh, and then just swipe the wind from under my feet, basically. Which was really annoying, and that happened several times, but I remember it happening once on Aloha. Thankfully, this time it was an easy finish for me. Yes, Elysium Alps. Should be easier than it was. I'm not really sure why I struggled so much with this one, but I really struggled. And I don't know, maybe it's the glass section at the end. The glass section, to be honest, is also another good reason to be allowed to jump, because the glass section is just annoying. Where am I going? Why am I going? Where am I going now? Oh well. Elysium is a really long track. It's not that wide, but it's also not that narrow. It's got a little bit of everything, and yeah.
Get it together, girl. Ooh, that won't
Like this section right here, it's very easy to accidentally fly over corners like I did there. And then I got punished by the rock. And then I smacked into Eddie.
perfect until I landed.
And then I think I didn't make this corner either. Well, I'm making it. No, I'm not making it. Okay. I'm not making this corner either. I'm not making them corners. Okay, you can see how early I'm turning here though, and I still didn't make it. So yeah. So the beginning section, you can sometimes get a little bit of an advantage there because you can't make the turns.
Come on.
Then we are soon to be approaching the icy section, which is probably the worst section in the entire game. While holding X, because you can't turn, and that ice is normally annoying to turn on, and when you can't turn, it's even more annoying. So that's the thing. At least we get this section, which is very open, very nice, smooth sailing. I tried to stick to the left here because I figured she wouldn't fly as high on the jump, and she definitely didn't, so that was nice. For this track though, I think I had to attempt it 5 times, maybe? Somewhere around there. It took a while. And I was very unimpressed because it is a rather long track, especially without the ability to take shortcuts. It becomes a rather long one. And you can also see JP like smacking into that. Is that JP? Nah, that was Sia. Whatever. But it's always funny seeing the AI mess up the shortcuts.
Hey, what the?
But yeah, so this section is my worst nightmare in terms of this challenge. Like, hello tree, hello rock, hello more trees, hello wall. Yeah, hello rock again. Nice meeting you, nice knowing you. And then you just see the AI escape.
Hey, Eddie! Put another corner
Yeah.
in.
This is so painful to just watch. Like, it's very, very awkward. And of course I ate that tree as well. I didn't intend for that rail, but somehow I got on it. I decided to just skip the ice here and just go for the deep snow. I was so fed up with the ice. But here I'm in second place, which is pretty decent. And because she fell there as well, that gave me quite an advantage. And this is also a very nice section. Just easy turns all the way. And then you end up in the worst section of this track. Or maybe not. Actually, the icy section with all the rocks, that's the worst. But this one isn't great either. Maybe there's a way to get a good rhythm going with this. I have not been successful in terms of getting a rhythm. But yeah. So sometimes being in last place is actually beneficial for a challenge like this because the AI would break the glass for you. But on the other hand, you risk not having the ability to catch up. And this was also annoying. Like, I didn't get anywhere. And I failed massively. But because of Mac and... who was it? Marisol? I didn't notice, but yeah. Because they failed, I got to take my lead back. And here I was getting a little bit nervous because I missed the speed boost. Which means another rider would be able to get it, and then they would be so much faster than me. That was a bit worrying. But thankfully the AI will go out of their way to do tricks and get sick airtime, which is where I can sometimes come in and just sneak the victory from under them. Just a little bit faster by sticking to the snow.
Ah, you're hot. Whoa, hey!
Alright, so this is Mesablanca, and I still have no idea how Moby can see through those glasses though. But yeah, Mesa is a very odd one, because it's an intermediate track. It doesn't have any elements that strike me as very standout difficulty. Or like, the difficulty doesn't really stand out in any particular section for me. I wouldn't really say that, oh, right here in the middle of the track, here we have the difficulty. I don't know where the difficulty is. Maybe it's the entire track, maybe it's the AI, I don't know. This, like I said, it took me 7 attempts or something. And it's the worst, by far. And I still can't quite wrap my head around why. But maybe there's just no section that's very easy. Like this is all doable, it works fine. But then after the start right here, it gets messy. I say as I land on this rock that totally ruins my day. But yeah, we got the bridge, which is fine because the bridge is rather wide. But then we get a bunch of airtime here for some reason. I never really understood why you get airtime off of this bridge. Then we also have this jump, which I'm almost not fast enough to make. And this is why I select warp, because it puts me right back on the main path right there. So I wasn't fast enough to make the jump, but it will put me back on the main path and put me a little bit further back than the AI, which I'm cool with. I'm taking that. This section is quite nice, another one of those, the turn taking me not taking the turn. And then I had enough speed to get up here, which is quite nice. But then of course I can't turn, and I do that. And then it select warp me to here, so that's a thing. I wish I would have taken that trick boost just to keep the AI from taking the trick boost, but that would have been a little bit mean of me, perhaps. This is also a nice turn. Very smooth, indeed.
Till I landed.
These rails right here, sometimes you can turn quite nicely around all of this mess, and sometimes you can't. You can't really turn around all of this mess. I was very nervous here because there were so many riders in front of me, and like I've been saying, by bumping someone slightly, I would usually spin out a lot. But they all had a little collision or something right there, and I snatched the speed boost. I hit the tree, but somehow didn't fall. And then it was smooth sailing from there. Which was very nice. That I got really lucky, I guess. I don't really know how I got that lucky, but the tree saved me. And the speed boost saved me as well, so.
Does it get any better?
It actually does get better, Zoey. So this is Mercury City, and I put this on last, even though I said Mesa was the hardest track of the game. Why would I do that? I guess you will find out, but yeah, I said I would do the childhood challenge in the video, right? I never said if I succeeded or not, and I'm not gonna tell you if I succeeded or not. In my mind, I did very well and I succeeded. If you agree or disagree, I guess that's up to you, but I'm considering this a win. But Merc is placed last, not because it is the hardest track at all, just because it's really interesting. I think if I was to give this a fair placement, maybe after Snowdream? Yeah, like there's a lot of small objects and such that you can bump into, but there's still a little bit of width to the track, so there's a decent balance, and yeah, it is a rather good track. And then of course you have the end section, which is a rather long straightforward section where you can not really catch up some speed because you're slower than the AI sometimes if they use boost, but if they don't, then you might be faster, and that's good. This was also a very fun wipeout.
Oh man.
Yeah, not that much to say about Merc. I will say that this challenge was quite fun to do. It's a little frustrating, but not a very intense challenge at all. Like I said, if I didn't have to hold the X button, it would be ultra chill. It would basically be just left hand playing, and I could sit there with a cup of tea or something, just enjoying the vibe, feeling the freshness of Tricky. But because I have to hold the X button, I can't be quite that frisky with my tea, and I'll just have to sit patiently and play. But when it does get tense, it does get very tense, and it can get frustrating, and it can also become very hilarious when you bump into stuff and you fly a million miles up the sky, and yeah,
Now you're getting it.
quite nice. I am so last. Well, oh, suddenly I'm second, third. Okay, fair enough. I am not last at all. I unlast this. Rare sight seeing Luther in first place of wiping out. Did you see him? He smashed that fence or wall. And I smashed that lamp. Okay, I guess that's karma. And now I am last. Oh man. Another lamp? Yes, indeed. Of course.
The mountain.
That was quite mean of them, putting that trash can in front of me. Who wiped into that trash can, bro? Brody, why you ruined me so much? I wonder which track was my favorite to play though in terms of this. Like maybe Merc was the best to play. I also quite like Garibaldi because it's just smooth sailing. Snowdream I found annoying because of that bridge at the end. I didn't know if it was gonna troll me or not. Tokyo was quite entertaining to play. Mesa was awful. Elysium was awful. Alaska was quite enjoyable as well. So basically all the easy ones were enjoyable. So yeah, we're coming up to the end of the video and I'm just gonna let this moment right here speak for itself. So yeah, this was me doing the SSX Childhood Challenge. I hope you enjoyed watching it and it was really fun. Please fall! No! Please, 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 please! Yeah! No! No! What? Come on! I had that! What?
Does it get
Bro!
any better?
What? I was clearly faster. I was going.
You didn't hold back at all.
What?
Oh, now.
No! Man. I don't accept this. Oh man, what? I can't. I mean, obviously I won. Why did they put me on the silver medal? Come on. Why is this so funny? Okay, it's not that funny. Woo. Okay. My god.